Mark, good to see you. Big Social Security news. The COLA jumps 3.2%, but Medicare Part B is up 5.9%. This cost of living adjustment reflects another year of high inflation. And again, we know we're going to be spending almost 6% more for Medicare Part B. So does this mean that we will see a smaller Social Security check in January?
Well, it's always the good when we look at any of this stuff. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good
Right.
is, yeah, as you're saying, we should see on average, or what you should see in your check per month is about a $50 increase. So that's
Hmm.
great news. But with Medicare Part B, however, we're going to see a $10 increase per month with people that aren't subject to what we call IRMAA. However, will we see a smaller check on average? The answer is no, simply because the Social Security is a much bigger cash flow than what
Right.
Medicare Part B premium is.
Yeah, thanks for breaking that down. That makes more sense now. I think a lot of people want to know, though, if this COLA affects when we should be claiming our benefits.
Well, I think as always with a lot of this stuff, it depends. And I know we teach a lot of classes on Social
Hmm.
Security because you can't just go into it and just say, hey, if I claim it at 62, here's my number. I think one of the biggest things that you have to ask yourself when you take Social Security is really, you know what you're going to get, but you really have to ask yourself, what am I giving up? And I would say for most people, from a tax planning standpoint, and if they're trying to maximize the cash flow, it's generally better to wait a little bit longer than taking it too early.
Hmm.
And plus, you have to factor in the taxation of Social Security, which is a different tax calculation. And this can create a lot of tax problems for people.
Hmm. Right. That's why claiming strategies are really, really important. I know, as you mentioned, it's what you specialize in. So now let's jump into 2024 Medicare Part B, which will be 174.70. That's up 5.9%. This premium usually comes straight out of your Social Security check, right? Explain how this works.
Yeah. So again, if you're taking your Social Security benefit, this is automatically deducted from each month out of your Social Security check. Now, obviously, if you haven't taken Social Security, then yeah, you're going to be paying that premium directly to Medicare.
Okay, good to know. And of course, I think that you probably get a lot of questions about the program's insolvency. A lot of people think Social Security will run out in their lifetime. In fact, 75% of people 50 plus think it will. So does this COLA increase affect the program's insolvency?
Well, again, the answer to that is really it depends. So when you look at the math is suggesting that Social Security, the trust fund, has said, look, this thing's going to run out in 2033,
Right.
34, but
Hmm.
really they're not going to have enough revenue coming in. Or the revenue that's coming in, they'll only have enough to pay out 80% of the benefits. So theoretically, you would see a 20% reduction in your overall benefits. So two things you could do. Let's say that does happen. By the way, Congress would have to vote on that, and because it's a law. And for some people, that would be, well, they would consider that political suicide. They're either going to have to do that, or the math suggests they're going to have to raise taxes. They have to raise revenues to generate more cash flow to pay for these unfunded obligations or promises that they've made to us. So, and by the way, you look at Medicare Part or Medicare Trust Fund, it's supposed to run out in 2028. And so, and it's three times more expensive than Social Security. So I
Hmm.
think in the short run, I'd worry more about what's going to happen with Medicare. And yeah, we're starting to see those increases, and we'll probably continue to see those.
Hmm.
But at some point, I think the bigger issue for people is really going to be looking at tax planning, because here's the thing: most people have all of their wealth in tax deferred retirement accounts.
Right.
Again, when we go back to if we went back to the table with IRMAA, a lot of people, their RMD, when they get to age 73 or 75, they're going to have to take out a lot more money than they need, especially since they've been good savers. So at the end of the day, they're going to be paying more for Medicare Part B premiums. I mean, you can see if you go over 258,000 for a married filing jointly, your payment per month could be $382 a month versus 174 for next year.
Yikes.
And
Yeah.
that's going to be a permanent thing that's going to happen. So we're encouraging people to do the tax planning now while taxes are on sale. And if Social Security does get reduced, if they pass that law, then yeah, you've got to look and create other guaranteed streams of income that can offset that loss.
Mhm. A lot of proactive planning is necessary for this. Absolutely, Mark. If somebody has questions about that strategic tax planning or claiming Social Security, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can simply call our office. One of our team members would be glad to talk to you. The phone number is 303-681-0113. Or you can go to our website. It's mcgregorwealth.com.
All right. Mark, thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Aaron, and have a wonderful week.
You too.